Hey musical architects, welcome back. You're halfway into a project and you realize that the key or the tempo of the song is not perfect. It feels draggy or it feels rushed. Or maybe the singer can't reach the high notes in the chorus. Or maybe it lacks energy and it's too low. What do? I made 2 videos, one about pitch and one about tempo. In this one, we're going to look at how we can speed up or slow down a track without having to re-record everything and without introducing too many artifacts. I hope it helps. Check it out. Welcome back, musical architects. If your tracks consist only of MIDI tracks, you don't have to worry about it. It automatically speeds up or slows down as you change the tempo. If you have real audio tracks, real recordings of instruments, it gets a little bit more complicated. But before I go through the trouble of speeding up every audio track, I want to test different tempos without spending too much time. So let's go step by step, from very simple to more complex and better sounding. Number 1. There's something called Varispeed in Logic. And Varispeed lets you exactly what the word says, vary the speed of a track without having to go through lots of procedures. We have to add a button to make it active up here on the toolbar or control bar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this display to custom. So it's going to work because I'm actually, if you're in one of those small display functions, it might not show. So control click this and go customize control bar and display. Then this window opens up and it gives you the option to add the Varispeed controls to your control bar. This little plus minus sign comes up here. If I click on it, you would notice that something is added here. It says speed only. 118 is my original tempo. So to try out if any other tempo would work, I'm not going and change single tracks. I'm just going to speed up or slow down the entire track and test it first. Instead of going speed only by percentage, which is not so relevant to me, 5% faster or slower, but I rather look at the tempo, the resulting tempo. So say 118 is my tempo. What would it sound like at a different speed? 114, for example. Original tempo, Varispeed tempo. And then listen. It will create some artifacts, and I would not mix it down that way, but I can test it like that. So going back to the original, let's see what it sounds like. I already sped it up before. It feels quite good right now, but before I think I started at 114 or 112. It felt draggy to me. Slowing down audio usually sounds worse than speeding up audio. Because slowing means stretching audio, and that means coming up with new audio material that wasn't there before. While when you speed it up, you just shift the samples closer together. So you're just losing some samples, which seems cleaner, and you have less artifacts. So go a little faster, and I just test it until I feel like, yeah, that's kind of right. Again, you don't want to mix it down like that. It's time to go into the single parts, each track, and do some work. So let's turn off Varispeed. We're back at 118. And before we make any tempo changes, I recommend this really simple but useful technique. When you click G for global tracks, there is a tempo track. So save your original tempo track, so you can always go back to that. I already named it 118, but you just can name it original. Indicate the tempo, 118. And then we're going to create a duplicate or a new set. Make a duplicate, call this faster, whatever I decided I want to go to. There's one more step to do. This is now not Varispeed. We can't just change the tempo. True, MIDI will always change the tempo, but with audio it's a bit different. Not too long ago, we couldn't just speed up audio. An audio track was recorded at a certain tempo. You couldn't change it. Because if you would speed it up, it would also change the pitch. It would go higher like a turntable record, or it would go lower when you slow it down. But what we can do now today is we have these techniques called warping or Flextime. So click Command F or this little button up here, and then activate Flex. And you can speed up and slow down each track individually. And that's a much cleaner sound. But I didn't want to go through this trouble before I decided what the tempo would be, if it's worth it. Finally, you have to choose the algorithm appropriate to that particular piece. If it's a guitar, I would not choose monophonic because it's multiple notes. It would be a rhythmic track or even a polyphonic track. If it's a bass, yes, monophonic, a single vocal. Slicing is great for drums because it simply slices the drum bits into single hits and then moves them closer or further apart. So that keeps it kind of clean on drums. Speed is exactly what I mentioned before. If I go speed and slow down or speed up the track, it also goes up on pitch. If I go faster or it goes lower. So we don't want to do that. I want to go rhythmic probably for this one. Just test it. I don't hear any artifacts, in other words, speeding it up like that. Now it's a bit of a time consuming thing. You just have to go through each track and I can shift select a bunch of them and turn on flex for all of them. And then choose the right algorithm. So I would turn on this for all the tracks. It will analyze them. If it's good, go to the next section on my synths, turn on flex. It'll take a minute to analyze it. It's a bit processing heavy. So your computer might run into problems. You can always consolidate things and bounce them into a new file in the new tempo. So it doesn't have to process it in real time. Again, make sure it is the right appropriate algorithm for each part. Choose it according to the material that you're stretching. If something doesn't work, go back to the original tempo and compare. See what is working and what is not working until we get the right tempo. In the next video, I'm going to show you how we do the same thing with pitch, but just a little different. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I hope this made sense and gives you the tools and skills to edit things very quickly in the future without spending much time and messing up your song. If you want to dig deeper, feel free to check out my course where I start from the very beginning of writing a song to the end of production and take you step by step through the process. Thanks so much and have a great day. No matter what, stay unapologetically creative.